Alright, folks, buckle up because we're diving headfirst into some of the wildest, most mind-bending medical tricks that have actually saved lives. These aren't your everyday pills or shots, these are the kind of treatments that sound like they belong in a sci-fi thriller or a mad scientist's diary. But trust me, they're backed by real history and science. We'll count down from 7 to 1, exploring how desperation and ingenuity turned the bizarre into breakthroughs. Let's jump in. Number 7. Wrapping burns with fish skin to speed up healing. Envision this scenario. You're lying in a hospital bed in Brazil, your body covered in excruciating burns that feel like fire never quite went out. The pain is relentless, and traditional treatments seem like a never-ending nightmare. Then, the medical team approaches with something unexpected, a layer of skin from a tilapia fish. Yeah, that everyday swimmer you might grill for tacos. It might make you wonder if you've slipped into some alternate reality, but this is no joke. It's a game changer for burn recovery. What makes tilapia skin so special? It's packed with collagen, the building block that keeps our own skin strong and elastic. Think of it as a natural scaffold that your body can build upon. When applied to severe burns, it acts like an advanced protective barrier, shielding the wound from infection while promoting regeneration. Unlike standard bandages that need constant changing each swap, feeling like ripping off a layer of your soul, this fish-derived covering stays put for extended periods, sometimes weeks on end. Gone are the daily dressing rituals that leave patients in tears from the agony. Instead, discomfort plummets, allowing folks to rest and recover without that constant torment. Wounds that might drag on for a month under old methods can seal up in half the time, accelerating the healing process dramatically. This innovation sprouted from necessity in resource-strapped Brazilian facilities where high-end options were out of reach. Researchers got creative, sterilizing discarded fish skins to an impeccable level cleaner than a freshly scrubbed operating room. No fishy odor, no weird taste, just a subtle pattern that might temporarily give you a mermaid vibe, like you're channeling an underwater superhero on a budget. It's a reminder of how nature often hides solutions in the most unlikely places, turning waste into wonder. Who knew your next dinner could double as a medical marvel? Number 6. Harnessing vampire bat drool to battle strokes. Now, picture a creature of the night, not the sparkly kind from teen novels, but an actual vampire bat fluttering through the darkness. These little bloodsuckers have a secret weapon in their saliva that keeps their meals flowing smoothly, preventing clots from forming mid-bite. Scientists caught wind of this and thought, hey, what if we borrowed that trick for human emergencies? Turns out it's a stroke of genius, pun intended. Strokes hit hard and fast, often triggered by a stubborn clot blocking vital blood flow to the brain. Every ticking second means more cells starving and dying, leading to devastating outcomes like loss of movement or speech if not addressed pronto. Conventional clot busters give you a narrow window, about 3 hours, to intervene before irreversible harm sets in. Miss it, and you're facing a lifetime of challenges. Enter desmote place, the star protein pulled from bat spit. This stuff extends that critical time frame to a whopping 9 hours, tripling your shot at recovery. It's like upgrading from a sprint to a marathon in the race against brain damage. And the best part? While typical drugs can be blunt instruments, blasting away clots but risking collateral chaos like internal bleeding, this bat-derived wonder is surgical in its precision. It zeroes in on the problematic clot alone, dissolving it without messing with the surrounding healthy tissue. Imagine a smart bomb that only targets the enemy base. This approach flips the script on emergency care, giving doctors more breathing room to act. It's a testament to how observing the animal kingdom can unlock human-saving secrets, turning a nocturnal nibbler's habit into a lifeline for millions. Number 5. Zapping the brain with electricity to lift deep depression. Imagine your mind as a glitchy old laptop, frozen in a cycle of despair where no reboot button seems to work. You've cycled through every medication under the sun, but the fog of depression refuses to lift. Then, a specialist proposes something that sounds straight out of a Frankenstein flick, inducing a seizure with controlled electric pulses. But hold on, this isn't the stuff of horror tales. It's electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, a refined tool that's been saving minds for decades. Here's the drill. You're gently put under anesthesia, electrodes are placed strategically on your scalp, and a brief electrical charge sparks a managed seizure. Your brain essentially hits the reset switch, flooding itself with a surge of mood-boosting chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. It's as if your neural network suddenly recalls the recipe for joy, shaking off the numbness in a profound way. This discovery was a happy accident from the early 1900s, when observers noted that epileptic seizures sometimes pulled people out of severe melancholy, like flipping on a light in a dark room. Today's version is worlds away from those crude beginnings, no thrashing about or conscious suffering. The procedure wraps up in under 15 minutes, and you wake up with no recollection of the event, feeling a subtle shift toward clarity. What sets ECT apart? While pills might help around 60% of folks, this method boasts an 80–90% success rate, and the changes can kick in within days rather than dragging on for weeks. Beyond the chemical rush, it stimulates brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a sort of fertilizer that encourages new neural growth and repairs. Deadened areas revive, connections rebuild, your brain literally remodels itself out of the shadows. It's like giving your inner world a renovation, restoring vibrancy where there was only gray. Number 4. Sipping silver solutions to fend off deadly infections. Back before modern antibiotics ruled the roost, battling bacteria was a roll of the dice, and people turned to some outlandish remedies in their quest for survival. One standout? Gulping down colloidal silver, minuscule bits of the shiny metal suspended in liquid. It might evoke images of ancient potion makers brewing in cauldrons, but this metallic elixir had real punch against invaders. The silver particles acted like microscopic assassins, latching onto bacteria and disrupting their vital processes on contact. Infections that could spell doom from raging wounds to systemic threats often retreated, buying precious time or even full recoveries. In an era where a simple cut might turn fatal, this was a beacon of hope. But every rose has its thorns, right? Overdo it, and you risked argyria, a condition that tinted your skin a permanent shade of blue. Not a faint blush, but a bold, irreversible hue that could make you look like you'd wandered off a fantasy set. Once those particles embedded in your tissues, there was no turning back. You'd carry that sapphire sheen for life. Yet, in the face of life-threatening bugs, many figured a colorful complexion beat the alternative of an early grave. It was a high-stakes gamble, highlighting humanity's willingness to embrace the eccentric when backs are against the wall. Number 3. Slathering honey on stubborn wounds to outsmart superbugs. Think about a gash that's refusing to mend, no matter how many creams or pills you throw at it. Antibiotics fail one after another, and frustration mounts. Enter the humble hero, medical-grade honey, stepping in like an ancient warrior ready to conquer. This isn't the sticky stuff from your pantry shelf. It's a purified powerhouse that civilizations like the Egyptians swore by millennia ago for everything from battlefield injuries to post-op care. Why does it shine? Upon contact with moisture in the wound, honey unleashes a steady stream of hydrogen peroxide, a natural antiseptic that zaps germs without the sting of store-bought versions. It's a slow, targeted release, like a time-released capsule of cleanliness. Plus, honey's thick, acidic nature creates an inhospitable zone for bacteria, smothering their growth while drawing out excess fluid to reduce swelling. This sweet savior even tackles resistant strains that shrug off our top drugs, making it a frontline fighter in hospitals against threats like diabetic foot ulcers that could lead to drastic measures like amputations. After months of stagnation, a honey application can kickstart closure, turning despair into progress. The version pros use? It's irradiated for sterility, amping up its potency essentially. Supercharged bee nectar on a mission. Special shout-out to Manuka honey from New Zealand, graded for its antibacterial strength like fine wine. Higher ratings mean more microbial mayhem, proving that sometimes the best medicine comes from buzzing hives rather than high-tech labs. Number 2. Using magnetic fields to jolt depression away. When depression digs in deep, exhausting every pharmaceutical option, it can feel like you're stuck in an emotional quicksand. That's when transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, enters the chat, a non-invasive zap that sounds too good to be true but packs serious science. Compare your sluggish mood centers to a car battery that's gone flat. TMS is the jumper cable that revs them back to life. You chill in a comfy chair, no drugs or scalpels involved. A coil device hovers near your head, firing quick magnetic bursts that penetrate the skull and stimulate precise neural zones tied to emotions. These waves encourage dormant cells to fire up and reconnect, like nudging old friends to pick up the phone after a long silence. Unlike broad-spectrum meds that can bring unwanted baggage like weight gain or fatigue, TMS is pinpoint accurate, minimizing side effects to perhaps a mild throb. Sessions build over weeks, gradually lifting the veil, offering hope where other paths dead-ended. It's brain hacking at its finest, using physics to rewrite mental narratives. Number 1. Infecting patients with malaria to torch syphilis. Topping our list is the ultimate in counterintuitive cures, deliberately dosing syphilis sufferers with malaria parasites. This dates to the early 20th century, when syphilis was a merciless killer, especially in its late stages where it ravaged the brain, leading to madness and demise. An Austrian physician pondered, what if extreme fevers from malaria could incinerate the syphilis spirochetes? The plan? Introduce malaria via injection, letting it rampage until body temp soared to over 105 degrees hot enough to make you delirious, shivering, and hallucinating as if gripped by a feverish demon. But amid the misery, those scorching spikes fried the heat-sensitive syphilis bugs. Once the job was done, quinine stepped in to vanquish the malaria, leaving the patient syphilis-free. Success hovered around 25%, a slim chance that beat the zero odds of untreated cases. It was like arson on pests in your home, risky, but effective when options were nil. The inventor snagged a Nobel Prize in 1927 for this audacious tactic, which persisted until penicillin arrived in the 40 seconds, rendering it obsolete with a simple injection. To keep the malaria supply flowing, facilities maintained volunteers as living reservoirs, people infected on purpose to harvest parasites. Talk about a bizarre gig in medical history. What a ride through medicine's quirky underbelly. If these tales sparked your curiosity about the odd side of science, drop a comment below with your favorite, and let's keep the conversation going. Maybe it'll inspire our next deep dive.